Okay, I'm just going to go through exam practice number 5, your homework. Question 1 was pretty straightforward. You can just use your calculator, and it's just a test of whether you can understand some of the buttons on the calculator, 1 mark for each part, and round your answers to 3SF. So the first one, part A, all of you should be aware of the squared button on the calculator and also how to type in stuff to any power. So that button there, and then we've got the decimal answer 7.125. However, that is not 3SF. That would be 7.13 to 3SF. Okay, part B, you have a fraction button on the calculator, you have some standard form, 1.5, the standard form button is at the bottom there, times 10 to the power of 3 over 1.5 cubed. As a decimal, be 444.4 recurring, but to 3SF, just 444. Okay, next one, another fraction, this time square root, 165, 7.2 times 10, try again, 7.2 times 10 to the 3, subtract 2.7 times 10 to the 2, press equals. Now, this isn't ideal, it's given me in standard form, but you should know times 10 to the negative 3 is a very small decimal, and the decimal would be 0.00185335, so on. And to 3SF, I'm rounding that 5 there because these zeros don't count, which gives me 0.00185 to 3SF. I guess you could write it in standard form as well, so you could have left it like that. It doesn't say ordinary number, so that would have been okay. Last one, square root 6.5 times 10 to the 3 over 3.4 times 10 to the negative 5 gives you 13,826.6 ... which is, that's the third SF, that doesn't round up, so 13,800 to 3SF. These are the only correct answers, by the way. You can't have any extra zeros anywhere. Those are it. Right, question 2. Some upper and lower bound stuff. So we've got 22 meters for part A to the nearest meter. That's the nearest meter. Go 5 above, 5 below, 21.5 meters, 22.5 meters. Lower bound, upper bound. Part B, 50 kilograms to the nearest kilogram. That's the nearest kilogram, 0.0, 5 above, 5 below. Part C, 750 seconds. This time it's the nearest 10 seconds, so that is the column you're interested in. And the one next door, then you go 5 above and 5 below. So 745 and 755 seconds. And part D is weird. Times 10 to the 3 over, I've skipped ahead, I don't know what I'm doing. Part D, 1,400 kilometers, sorry, to the nearest 100 kilometers, or to the nearest 100, that column there. Look at the number next door, 5 above, 5 below. 1450, always easy to do the upper bound first, kilometers, 1350 kilometers. Not too bad so far. Okay, question 3. You're given a formula. You're given some weird notation, x equals 2.5 plus or minus 0.5. In other words, you've got x has a lower bound of 2 and an upper bound of 3. You just subtract the 0.5 and add the 0.5. Y has a lower bound 1.5 subtract 0.5, so 1, upper bound of 2, and Z lower bound of 1, upper bound 1.2. And you want the upper and lower bounds of W. So W is there. Okay, so we have a fraction, W max. Okay, think about how you make a fraction as big as possible. And one way to do it is make the excuse me, the numerator as big as possible. So the x and y add-in needs to be as big as possible. So I'm going to pick the biggest numbers possible. 3 plus 2 over, and the other way to make a fraction as big as possible is to not divide by much. So I'm going to divide by the lowest possible value, which is 1. I'm going to type that into my calculator, although I don't need to, and it would be 5. Minimum W. Okay, minimum W. Now you want the reverse. You want the numerator to be as small as possible. So pick x and y as small as possible. And I want to divide by as much as possible. 2 plus 1 over 1.2 gives you 2.5. So the upper bound is 5, the lower bound is 2.5. Okay, question 4, estimation. Now it's really important that you do the exact thing that I'm about to do, not what necessarily the textbook might say. Because the only way to get these right in an exam is if you round every single value to one significant first. So we have 1.9 times 10 to the 3 times 4.1 times 10 to the 2. That is part A. And I need to round both of these numbers to 1 SF. So that 1.9 rounds up to a 2. That 4.1 rounds down to a 4. And then I'm just typing that into my calculator. Okay, 2 times 10 to the 3 times 4 times 10 to the 2 gives you that. It doesn't say, it does. It says give the value in standard form. So that would be 8 times 10 to the 5. Okay, part B. 5.9 times 10 to the 4 over 2.9 times 10 to the 2. First significant figure, approximately rounds up to a 6, rounds up to a 3. Some of you can do this bit in your head. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 10 to the 4 divided by 10 to the 2 is subtract the powers, 10 to the power of 2, or 200 in standard form. Part C. They want us to do a square root. 8.9 times 10 to the 4. First significant figure has to be every single time, rounds up to a 9. And then be lazy, don't do that in your head. Gives you 300. I'll write it in standard form, 3 times 10 to the 2. I'm going to squeeze in part D, 4.9 pi, okay, times 10 to the 3 over 9.2. Now, the 9.2 bit's easy. Okay, so that would be square root of 9 on the denominator. Is this bit on the top, which is weird. I need to work out what 4.9 pi actually is. So 4.9 pi is 15.393804, so on. And that's the thing I need to round to 1SF. And that would round to 20. First significant figure rounds up to 20. So that should be 20 times 10 to the 3. If I type that into my calculator, 20 times 10 to the 3, try again, 20 times 10 to the 3 over root 9, it gives me all of that. Okay, so 666.6 dot dot dot. They've asked me to round final answers to 1SF as well, so 7,000 or 7 times 10 to the 3, I guess, would be that. Okay, that was okay so far. Next.